Welcome back to Welsh Miniature Bull Gamer, and this is my monthly review of what I managed to get painted. Now, this month my painting table has moved, so another excuse I'm going to use, and I'm still got this stinking cold because my, you know, plague-ridden children have managed to pass it on to me. So I haven't got as many as I wanted to get done, but I have got quite a few, which is really good getting back into painting. Even if I haven't quite got my sort of zen of feeling good about painting, I've got a good thing about I like to finish things at the moment, so that's good. So, I'm not getting the benefits of painting, but I am getting the end results, which is really what I want. So, this month I have painted up a bunch more of the Oathmark dwarfs. So these are the dwarf, I think light infantry maybe. So they're like militiaman style dwarfs. Uh, so yes. So I've given a bunch of them some spears because I figure spears are going to be good weapons for short little people to use. Even though technically in fantasy they don't generally use spears. Now I don't do eyes, as you can see. I generally think that the eyes you're not going to see from the distance. A normal person looks at the miniatures on the tabletop, so there doesn't seem much point to me painting the eyes, as long as they got some shading in the face, etc. That's more than enough for me. Like I said, my painting is my painting, your painting is your painting, and all the better for it. I quite like the way I've added a bit of colour to the shield. It's a bit more reddish in actuality than it's catching on camera, but it gives some variation in the colouring in the shield, and I kind of like that. It's like, maybe once upon a time it did have some heraldry or something. Like I've said before, like these boxes, try to go at freehand painting, but that looks a bit rough, but it'll do. These dwarfs are going to be generally probably non-character dwarfs. They're just going to be there for the heroes to have companions or whatever. So this is the last of the actual dwarves I painted up. Again, a bit of a freehand, very rough hammer. But they look decent enough from the distance which you want to look at them from. I've got another one of the little goblins painted up. Just a very rudimentary job, as I don't see any of my player characters ever wanting to actually be a goblin, but there is one for fighting purposes. Then we got a bunch of the Ghost Archipelago crewmen. I'm still getting back into the painting, so the painting isn't ideal. It's not brilliant, but it's okay. It's going to be tabletop, or at least my tabletop. Your tabletop may vary. I like his tash. It's got a good tash. Kind of like this guy, and he's got like slightly darker on his one side. I figured that he's got like a birthmark or a burn or something. Experimenting with a bit of different colour skin tones, which is a bit different for me. Well, that joined up really well, didn't it? You can see that hand does not join up right. But yeah, like I said, super zoomed in we are, so generally speaking, you're not going to see them this close. Now, with this guy, as you can see, the paint was coming off as I was varnishing him, which is a bit of a pain because I use a brush on varnish, and because I used speed paint, I obviously didn't let it really set in for long enough, and it started coming off, and it's a bit annoying. Don't know whether to go back with some earth texture and sort of bringing up onto his legs, maybe some blood or something, to try and hide the fact that I've rubbed off some of the paint. I don't know, but yeah, I hate it when it does that. It's done it a couple of times before with me, but I do like using the brush on varnish because we've got such wet and humid conditions here in Wales that yeah, I'm not so sure about spraying, and I can't do it outside at the moment anyway, so yeah, that's a bit of a problem. So this guy again, I went for a bit of a darker skin tone, maybe sort of Pakistan or Sri Lankan, or something a bit different. But because these are like pirates, because they're from the Ghost Archipelago crew members thing, I figured we should have a few different skin tones, especially darker skin tones, because most sailors would be pretty well baked in the sun. So yep, so I got 4 of them done. I got 7 of the dwarfs, and then I got a load of boring doors painted up. So there are 21 doors in the Hero Quest box, and I've painted up all 24, which was soul-destroyingly slow. But yeah, there's quite a bit of detail on them, as you might be able to see. I've got some greens and browns on the vines or roots. Now, technically, I suppose the green doesn't look really right, because I think all of the Hero Quest adventures are underground, so it's like a green vine sounds a bit weird. So really, brown roots make more sense, but I like the look of the green vines, and they break up some of the obvious, all the doors are the same. So I did all 21 of them, so they're all, I'm not going to show you them all, don't worry, all like that. Now the thing is, I find very strange with this is that there are only 5 closed doors, and there are, what's that? So there's 21 doors, 5 closed. That's 16 of them that are open, and I find that rather strange why they didn't give at least a few more doors that are closed. But I'm sure in their wisdom there is a reason that their adventurers don't run around leaving doors wide open, doors closed, and going to find other doors to open. I got a feeling that my players might decide to leave all the doors closed just to make me run out of doors. But there you go. They're painted up 21 doors. So I'm going to count that as 10 miniatures, because although they took me a fair time to paint up, they kind of are terrain, and I don't generally count terrain as miniatures, but I'm going to count them because they did take me quite some time, so I'll count 10 of them instead of 21. How does that sound? Then we got these, I think they're Death Knights, they call them. They're not Chaos Warriors or anything like that. They are very distinctly not. I think they're called Death Knights, but I could be wrong. Excuse all the cat here. There you go. Again, a very quick job of painting them, but it worked. It worked well, and I don't want them looking too bright and cheerful. So I think for what they are, they look perfectly fine. I did the one with a red cloak and the other 3. Nope, I put it down there. With black and grey cloaks. So if there is ever any reason why we need to distinguish them, we can. The shields are kind of grotesque. I've tried to make them look, kind of slimy and bleh. And I think that worked. It's giving some depth to the stomach, armour part there. I think it kind of worked. So that was 4 more of the Death Knights, and they are from, of course, the Hero Quest box, the beginner box, or core rules, whatever you want to call it. And they also got these abominations, they call them. I call them Fishman, Mr. Squiddy. But yeah, and I painted up the 3 of these. I'll bring this guy down here. There you go, so you can see there's 3 of them. And yeah, I'm quite pleased with how they're painted up. They're not perfect, Like, none of my things are perfect, but they are quite nice, you know. I've highlighted them and what have you, and yeah, I think they look the part anyway. So that's what I've got painted up this month. That's 29 miniatures, which is pretty good for me at the moment. Trying to get back into the swing of it and trying to enjoy painting again, which is a bit of a hard thing to do when you haven't done it for a while. Sometimes it's easy to get back into painting, but hard to get to enjoy it again. I've also done another project, which was actually what I'm filming this thing on. I made a gaming table, but I did try and record that, and it ended up looking like I was filming it through a Dickensian fog or something, because of all the sawdust and what have you that was flying around. So that kind of failed. So I will show you the finished product at some point. It isn't finished yet, but yeah, when it is, I will show you what it looked like and what I did, because that took up a few days of my schedule, and also haven't even finished it yet. But it's working. It's not pretty, but it's functional. So until next time, it's going to be all from me, Welsh Miniature Board Gamer. I'm going to say goodbye and good luck.